Hello my friends, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. This is Turquoise Dreaming and I'm Sheree, and today I'm doing some more crafting. I'm calling it Halloween crafting because it's for my Halloween journals that I'm working on, right? So yes, and I told you I was going to show you what I'm doing with the scraps. I showed you the scraps I have, from this journal, which we're making these 4 journals, which is quite a few. So I'm going to probably try to concentrate on these smaller, smaller uh, scraps. I have the bigger ones. I guess I'll put this one in the smaller pile now. We used part of that, so it was bigger, and now it's smaller. But and they're all cardstock scraps. I'm not using anything like the wrapping paper that I showed you on this, but these are all my bigger scraps. So those won't come into play today unless I need some color, some patterns. If you see my one, I might as well tell you, if you see this one painted fingernail, because I usually don't paint my fingernails because they don't seem to like it, and I don't do faux fingernails. So anyway, my granddaughter was here yesterday, and I don't think she's ever had her fingernails painted, and she's 4, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll be the first one to paint her fingernails, but we didn't end up doing them all. She didn't want to. I kind of approached her with it, and she said, no, 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 I don't know what that is. Don't bring that near me. And then I showed her mine, and her favorite color is pink, so I painted just one of my fingernails. And she's like, oh, pink fingernails. So then she was very interested. So she let me paint. I didn't want to do them all because I didn't want her parents to be like, what are you doing? Because, like I said, I don't think she's ever had her fingernails painted. So what I did was just paint her. I painted one of her, her pointer finger. And then she wanted the other one. So she just has her 2 pointer fingers painted with pink fingernail polish. And I sent her home that way, and I didn't say anything. I wanted to see what they said. Like, don't do that again. Or, wasn't that cute? I think she really liked it. So I don't, like, if her mom tries to take it off, she's going to be like, no, don't take that off of me. Leave it alone. I like it. So we'll see what I started here. We'll see what I've started. I may be painting her fingernails every time she comes over now. I'm going to cut this one in half to get a little bit. Did I say what we're making? I didn't even say what we're making. I don't think. Or maybe I did. Okay, so I just jumped in right into my fingernail, didn't I? So what we're making is some belly bands. I want some belly bands for these journals, and I want to use the colors, of course, that coordinate with them. So, of course, using the scraps. And I think I'm going to use since it's cardstock to cardstock, to get it to adhere nicely, I'm going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac. Oh, hold on 1 second. I just realized something. How about some more light? I didn't turn on my other light. I have 2 lights in here that I have on during videos. And the one light I just had on is just, if I'm crafting by myself and I don't feel like, and I'm not doing a video and I don't feel like having both lights on, I just have one light on, one overhead light on, which is on my ceiling fan up there. So, yeah, so I hope everyone's doing well today. Hope you're going to have a good week wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope I'm going to have a good week. Last week was so busy at work that I was I don't like being overwhelmed. I like being able to do things one at a time, maybe 2 at a time, I don't know. But, I can do a little multitasking, but not too much. And I don't like to be overwhelmed with more than I can get done. Like, I like to have my work and get it done. And if I'm overwhelmed, that means I have more work than I can do. And then I am still trying to get it done, because that's how I am. I just, don't like things up in the air. So let's see. What do I want to use next? So, yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to need to bring in some color as far as patterns. So, this is how I made some belly bands a little while ago. Here's a nice long one and short ones. But yeah, I made some belly bands this way a little while ago, and I really liked how they turned out. Let me get a row of owls here. And it was for, I used them in the back to school journals. And they were primary colors, so they could be used in any journal with those colors. So let me just get a few of these strips going on here. So I think this is how I did it, and it really turned out they turned out so cute. So I'm trying to stick to that same, kind of thing that I did then. I'm trying to keep them too in an upright orientation as far as the pattern. So let's put a few of these together now that I have a few here, and they're not all, so that you can see they're not all the same size. So let's put this one next. Yeah, okay. And yeah, so, and they turned out so cute. I measured this already. This is just a piece of white cardstock that I recycle. I bring these home from work and recycle this white cardstock. It makes for good whatever backing, background, anything like that that I need some cardstock for. And so that's what I think that's what I used before too, this white cardstock. And just did like a masterboard kind of thing of strips. And okay, let's do, I don't want another red one. Let's see what else I have here. This one, I want to especially use these that are kind of like almost too narrow this way to do anything else with, except for maybe use some punches on them, or, I'm sure I could find something else to do with them. So I was trying to decide whether I want to cut this in half this way or not, like lengthwise, but I think I'm going to leave it. When I held it down there just now, it looked cute, but I do need to find strips that will continue the same size, you know what I mean? So that could be a little bit of a problem, but I think I'll go ahead and put this one right here too. Oh, that's perfect. It goes right to the end. Okay, so what I did before was make this kind of masterboard of my scraps. I don't think I used Fabri-Tac before. I think I used like permanent glue stick. So you can use whatever you want. If you're going to sew on it, you could even use just regular purple glue stick, the non-permanent one, and then sew on it, and you should be good to go. But let's see. I don't want to use red again just yet. Let's try an orange. So this one I think I'll cut in half so I have enough to go all the way across. So that's another way we can approach this, with having something to match the size to go all the way across. Well, actually, let me see, make sure I'm cutting this in the middle. I'm going to make a little pinch right there to determine my center of this piece, and then try to cut it straight here. If I can line it up on my paper cutter. I know you can't see the whole thing, but I think you're all right. It's not too exciting to see me cutting paper, actually, but it's being done. Okay, so I was a little stressed at work last week just because I had too much of it. But people always say job security when you have too much work to do, you know what I mean? Job security, yeah, okay. But I still want to get my work done, because it actually, I actually have to have it done, or things don't go well as far as you know, because my work, you know, people need what I do to do what they're doing, to finish what they're doing. So if I don't get my work done, then they don't get their work done. so it's a chain effect. If I don't get my work done, then they don't get their work done. So yeah. So I feel responsible to get my work done in that way too, so that they can do what they need to do. You know, that's not quite right, but maybe I'll overlap something a little bit, because it has to be right next to each other to you know, to look right. So this, I probably do a couple more here and then pause and then come back and show you the finished product, because maybe you don't want to just see me gluing down strips of paper. Oh, did I put glue over that whole thing? Because now I need to cut it off. Yeah, let's cut that off right now while the glue is still wet, and so I don't get glue everywhere. And put this down. I think this is too wide. I mean, not wide enough here for here, but let me check it out. Oh, it is going to fit. Not quite though. It's a little not, it's kind of narrows a little bit, so that's a problem. Let me put this one down at the bottom, down here. Okay, so we've done a couple of solids, so I need a pattern here. Okay, we might end up doing this whole thing on video. We'll see how it goes. I'll play it by ear for a second. Okay, so we have owls. Let's see, what else did I cut here? I've got some polka dots and leaves. All right, let's glue these down. And see, those are not wide enough for up here, so I still need pieces for up here. And okay, so let's get these down. And so what I did before on the belly bands was do this whole masterboard, and I'll be able to get, I should be able to get 4 out of here with no problem. So I only need I only need 1. Okay, there's my polka dots, and I think it's pretty much the same size, but I need to overlap it a little bit here. Yeah, see, I'll just overlap because this piece is a little shorter than that piece. We'll see how it works out. The thing is, I'm going to be cutting it up too, so I put a little bit too much glue on there. Let me smear that out and make sure this is overlapped on that piece so it covers all white. Okay, now what haven't we used? Here's a some striped pieces. Oh, that would fit perfect right there. Look at that. Would that fit perfect right there? Let me see. It will. Interesting. Okay, let's put that there. Yeah, the last one I didn't use any thick strips like this. I used all like thinner, like this, strips. So this is something different I'm doing. But I like it. I like the look. I mean, just picture a belly band right here. If I cut here, that'll be a belly band. That'll be really cute. So we're going to put this one here. So that's why if it's not lined up perfect this way, it won't matter, because I'm cutting them this way. And then I'm going to, what I did on the last ones was sew all in between the strips and around, I think. Is that what I did? So, you know, around the whole, cut the belly bands, sew in between the strips and around the whole thing. So, all right, is there enough on there? Yeah, I think so. So not only are these going to be held together with the glue, they're all going to be also going to be sewn on. And I actually tried not sewing on the whole thing before, you know, like in between and just sew around, but I liked it better with them all. So I kind of went back and sewed around, you know, in between also, because it looks so good. Let's put this looks like it would fit right here. Let's put that right there. I'm going to put some glue right there instead of on here, so I don't have glue in the wrong, you know, put too much glue on this strip. so let's do that. See, it goes pretty fast if you make these two like this, especially if you use some wider pieces. If you have them, you know, why not use them like that? Okay, so I need a little square here. So let me pick a color that I haven't used yet. Purple. Except I need a pattern here. Let's see. Let's use this pumpkin. I think that'll be all right. I need to cut it. Great. I need to cut it right. So let me see if I can do that. All right. I think I got it. I think I've got it figured out. All right. Let's see. I don't know. There's not much left on that. All right. So this is going to go here, and then I'm going to cut that after and I'm going to do the same thing here where I just put glue on this spot. And then we'll cut those two off so they're out of my way. Okay, so that. All right. Sorry if my table is shaking. I was just rubbing there on the table so it shakes the table. Okay. Now we've got those two strips. Okay, so I need to fill in. Well, we're almost done, so I guess I'm not going to pause. Probably not. But let's fill in. So maybe a solid strip here. Let's see. I've got this color that I haven't used yet. Let's see if I can. You know what, I'm just going to put some glue here because I have a couple of these. So I'm just going to put some glue here and glue this down. And then I'll do the same thing. Cut it off the bottom. That'll be faster and measuring and let's put glue all the way down here because I'm going to do this real quick. So here, and then I need another piece here. And then we'll cut that off, and now we only need those two pieces up there. Make sure that's butted together there. Okay. Okay. These two strips I will keep because I make my little sewn together strips, and these will go with those very easily. I'll be able to use those. And that one I'll keep here. This is my table protection at the moment. Okay, oh, this is looking good, isn't it? I think so. We just need those two pieces. So, let's see, this actually goes, no, I can't use that. We don't have any purple on here. I really wanted all the colors, so let's put that here, and then we'll look at or maybe we'll put this here. Okay, let's put it there. I'm going to do the same thing. That's working out pretty well and quick than me trying to measure and cut a piece to fit there. So I'm just going to put that right there. It's a solid, you know, solid. And then let me see if I have another pattern that I can put there. We got polka dots, owls, little pumpkins there. Oh, I can put some more owls there maybe. Here's another piece of owl paper. Gosh, I hate it could so easily match up, but it also can't match up because then I won't be able to fill in that spot. So I think I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. See how it goes and see what happens here. Okay. Oh, I can't do that here though. I got to cut here. I can't do that after. Okay. Hold on. Let me measure a little bit here. Yeah. Tried to do it, didn't I? Nope. Can't do it that way, Sheree. That's not going to work. That's not going to work for you. All right. Let's do it then. Let's cut it. See, it takes longer to cut it, doesn't it? I don't know if this is going to be right, but let me see. Let me see. Do I need another hair off or another sliver? Let me just cut a little sliver off here. We're just using up scraps, so that's why I'm trying not to be too picky about how it turns out as far as what I'm cutting off, what I'm leaving, type thing. Plus, we're going to cut this up. So, okay, we did it. We finished. That was pretty quick, don't you think? Okay, and then I'm going to cut these off. Little pieces. That I can keep. Oh, here's a sliver. I need to get rid of that. And I think this has a little owl on it. Maybe I can fussy cut him out. All right, so let's cut this up the way it is. I kind of want to start on this side and then go from there. Oh, there's a little line of owls, but I can use this orange strip too. That this is some of this is. Well, I think most of this is double-sided. So belly bands, no certain width, but I'm going to say, well, this is about 8.5 probably. Let me see if it's 8 or 8.5 because I cut a little bit off. Like I said, it's from my work. Oh, it's 11. Oh, what am I saying? This is 8.5 and this is 11. But this way I cut a little bit off because it's from work and I had to cut off. Like I cut off the holes. There were holes because it was in a notebook and there was a label over here, a little tab, you know, type with a label on it. Okay, let's see. So if it's 11.5, 2, 4, 6, 8, I can do a little over 2 inches. So about, I don't want to get into a lot of measuring, but, and they don't have to be any certain width, but here is 2.5. So I'm going to start off with about 2.5 and hopefully we'll be pretty good there. Oh, that looks a little wide. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to do a little under 2.5. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Just kind of eyeballing my width because I know, you know, I just can picture it. Okay, so there's the first one. And I started on the right side, cutting from the right over. So, and there's going to be stitching around and then stitching all in between. So you see that little white part there? There's going to be stitching over that. So I'm not worried about it. Okay, let's see if we can do another one here. I want to be able to use up this whole paper, not have some little strip on the back, on the left, on the end. So I'm going to try to make that happen. I'm going to do this one a little bit wider and a little bit wider. All right, yeah, I think this will work out. Okay, that one looks really nice. And see, it is a little bit wider. A good 1/4 of an inch wider, actually. And then I want to cut this in half, this left piece that's left. Pretty much cut this in half. And then we will have used the whole thing for my 4. Like I said, I needed 4, right? So we'll have our 4. There's the next one, and there's the next one. Really cute. And then, you know, I can add to this if I wanted to. Like I could add, I have a little sticker here. You could add a little bat sticker or, you know, just whatever. So I'm going to go sew around these and then I'll come back and show you what they look like. And we'll do a little audition of them in one of our scrapbooks, junk journals. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've sewn on 2 of them. And I was going to show you the difference between one where I've sewn in between all of the papers and one that I haven't sewn in between the papers. So they're both very cute, right? And I think they turned out really super cute. But I am going to sew in between this one. I just wanted to show you the difference. You know, you don't have to sew on them at all, or you could sew on them a little if you want. And then if you really want to do it, you can sew in between the papers like I did here, which is what I like best. So let me show you how this is going to look. I don't have a page picked out, but I have this journal here. I did add ruffles after the last video where I showed you what I was doing and adding the pockets from the bottom of the paper bags that I made. I showed you, we did some of those together, and so, that was the last video. And then this one, I wanted to go ahead and see if I didn't know if I wanted to add the belly bands after I sew in the signatures or before, so I thought, well, let me just go ahead and do it now before I sew in the signatures. So let's look for a place. Like this would be a good place for a belly band, actually. I like to sometimes put them on pages where somebody might not know what to do with it, like this is the back of the calendar, but you still have all that cool, colors and background, and then you have your belly band, and you'll have, say, a journaling card. This is not a journaling card, but just say this was a journaling card. That'll be stuck under there, so it's a nice little, conglomeration of things. So I think that's a good spot for it, but I just want to look and see. Is there any place? Okay, and I do like to put them on. I sometimes like to put them on plain pages too, like this. That would look cute there. But sometimes I don't want to do that because then I want to leave wide open pages for, the person that gets the journal to do what they want. So, and then I could always put it on there. I really like it on that calendar page. So here's another calendar page. This one has the picture here, and then belly band. So that was the first signature, and then I would never put it here. I wouldn't, but somebody that has this journal could put one there. There's another plain page, so I guess there's the back one, and let's see if there's any other. Like, is there anything that's just going to jump out at me and say, put me here type of thing? Another plain page there. But like I said, we did put a pocket on that one. Okay, so do I want to put it on a plain page or do I want to put it on a calendar page? I think I'm going to put it, let's see, this has a pocket, so I think I'm going to put it on a plain page because I think there's plenty of plain pages in here. So yeah, I think this one, well, we're not going to do this one because I still have to sew in between. But so at this point, you can, if it's, like sometimes if I haven't do a belly band where I didn't sew on it like this, I will sew it on if I haven't sewn in the signatures. So I'll sew it on. I'll just take this page to my sewing machine and sew here and here. But since I've already sewn on it, it actually looks like it's sewn on, even though it's not. You could get that illusion, I think. And then so I'll just glue it down at this point. And Fabri-Tac's nice and strong for something like this, so I'll just use my Fabri-Tac here. When I have stitching on the back, I make sure I have not an overabundance of glue, but still enough to cover those stitches and have it all adhere to what I'm putting it down on. So that's what I'm doing here. Just making sure I have enough on there to get through the stitches and glue it down, and that works perfectly fine. So it makes it nice and strong, and I'm going to put it right in the middle here. And isn't that cute? I love it. I love it. I didn't really plan out the colors or anything, as you saw, just grabbing and putting them down. But I like how the owls are, I didn't do that on purpose, but I like how the owls are at the top. I mean, they would look cute anywhere, right? They're just cute. But I like how that turned out. And this color coordinates with that color. And the stripes even. I mean, it's all from, these journals. So they're all, pretty much coordinating. I did put a little bit more red in Clifford. But in the Clifford journal. But, yeah. That's how that one is. And there it is. Just making sure there's no glue sticking out, and there is not, so I don't have to worry about pages sticking together. That happens if you're not careful and the glue is oozing out. So there we go. One more Halloween crafting video down, and one more thing I needed to do down. So I think I'm going to finish off these belly bands and then sew in the signatures and go from there. So thanks for watching. Oops, sorry about that glare. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day.